Haha, that looks really cute.
Oh, I love it!
Welcome to the Mike Cassidy Photography Podcast.
Thank you, big voice in the sky. My name is Mike Cassidy, and I'm a boudoir photographer from New Jersey, and this is my show. I get to talk to some of the best photographers in the world to find out how they got started, what sparks their creativity, and what hurdles they've had to overcome to get their businesses going. Along the way, we'll probably have a few laughs, but I'm here to have in-depth conversations about all kinds of things you've always wanted to know from the best out there. So stay tuned. You never know what you may learn. Heard myself. Greetings. My name is Michael, and I'm your neighbor. What's going down, everybody? You know, it didn't even dawn on me, really didn't. I happen to be working on the host for the podcast site on their website, and I realized this show has been around for a year already. So thank you. You know, happy birthday. Thank you. Happy birthday show. You know, and it started, I guess, last August with the intro episode, which really wasn't much of an episode. I think I was talking for like 20 or 30 seconds. And I remember I didn't even have time to get into the interviews, but I figured if I don't start this now, I'm never going to get it started. I didn't have much of a plan. I wasn't really in any rush. I recorded, I think, the first interview with Trevor, then planned on doing a few others, and everything got delayed because I was busy. And I don't really think I was able to start dedicating a lot of time till January or so and getting those episodes out regularly, whatever that means, you know. And now we're gaining momentum, and, you know, we'll see where this goes. And I got to tell you, there's no guarantee that I'm not going to go crazy and head off to some tropical island somewhere. You know, it's always a possibility at any moment. But, you know, more and more people are listening, and I'm starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm, the scheduling, and more importantly, you know, it's just making this part of my routine. It's a lot of work, you know, but it's been fun. Now I'm in the middle of recording 10 or 11 episodes for the fall. I lost track of how many there were. I got about 7 or 8 of them done. I think I have 3 more scheduled for this upcoming week, and I think there's 1 more the week after that. So we should be good. We should be good for fall. So get all this out of the way, and that way I can get them all done and do my crazy work through the fall and getting into Christmas. So as a doofus, what have I learned so far doing this? Well, aside from struggling through learning like the technical aspects of doing this, you know, the recording and editing, I didn't know anything about that. You know, I enjoy learning that, so it took a while to figure that out. The best part, I think, is really getting a chance, an opportunity to help people out. It's a nice feeling to help share information with those who want to learn or just those who enjoy photography, you know. And this isn't a show really about the technical aspects of a camera, although, you know, I'd really like to have somebody on who knows gear and give some suggestions for photographers and so forth. You know, we focus more on the business aspects. I've had some great guests who really feel and have the same passion about sharing, you know, their knowledge. So that's been really nice. And you'll hear a lot of smart concepts that can be applied. You know, a lot of this information can be applied to any type of business, no matter what your specialty is. And another thing that is evident, and the more you listen, you'll see, and not just this show, but any show, is that there isn't necessarily one right way to run your business. Think of it in a weird way like Photoshop. You know, there can be 5 different ways to make a selection. And depending on who teaches you or where you learn, you may learn a bit differently from one person versus another. You know, in the end, though, it's, you know, that you learn to make a great selection in Photoshop. You know, the way you learn sometimes really doesn't matter. And another aspect about doing this show that I really like is getting the opportunity to talk with a lot of great and interesting people. You know, I like learning. I enjoy learning new things. And every time I sit and talk to somebody, I really try to absorb everything I can. You know, I don't always agree with the methods or the ideas with some of the guests, but the beauty of it, see here, is I don't have to. And that's not what it's all about. Listening to other perspectives and others' points of view, even if it's not your own, is part of personal growth. You know, sometimes people grasp on to one point of view, one way or the other of doing something, and there can be no other way. My way is the right way. Can't ever do anything else. You know, but you'll see as you go along, this is really very limiting. And it's not about being right. And it's not about having just one opinion and everything else is wrong. You know, that's not the way you have to look at things. It's not a situation about if one person is right, everything else has to be incorrect. Life is rarely binary in that matter, and it's really like a false narrative that many people make and live by. And I'm not just talking about photography. This really applies to everything. So you just have to be a bit open-minded and just learn how to not close doors because something doesn't immediately appear to be part of your personal belief system. You know, and who knows? Over time, you may learn something. And speaking of learning, are you ready to learn something today? Because it's time to introduce today's guest. Today's guest is Jessie Wyman of Jessie Wyman Photography, and she's a brand photographer. She is also the proud owner of the brand photography method that teaches people like you how to get started in brand photography. It's good stuff. Jessie has been a photographer for a long time, and she made the transition from weddings to being a brand photographer because her heart, just wasn't in the wedding scene. And so today she's going to tell us a bit about that process, and she's had ups and downs and what she learned to start booking new clients after completely switching her business, And when you're done listening to the show, shizzle over to sign up for her brand photography method course, and the links are going to be, down below. It's worth taking a look at. And I think I would know these things. I think the next round of courses start in October. So go and do it. Do it. Do it. As always, I like hearing from you. You can connect with me online at Instagram at Mike Cassidy Podcast, or send me an email at mike@thephotographypodcast.show if you feel like reaching out to me. And thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next show. This podcast and my website both focus on the goal of translating the art and business of photography and making it accessible and understandable to everyone. My goal is to provide the best content in photography for you, the listener. I've assembled a great team of photography guests and experts to make this happen. What I've chosen to do is create a subscriber model for my audience. If you value what I'm doing, you can become a member and support this podcast. In exchange, you'll get benefits over and above what's available for free. It's my goal to ensure that subscribers will definitely get back more than they give. I've created a membership program that brings you far more in-depth content if you want to take your knowledge of photography to the next level. Members will receive episodes with complete, unabridged interviews with our guests. Members will also get exclusive access to listen to and participate in AMA episodes. And there's more. If you would like to learn more now, head over to thephotographypodcast.show/subscribe. Now, without further delay, here's today's episode. I'm going to start recording in case I say my one intelligent thing of the day. I don't want to miss it. I'm not that bright. It's a lot of work. That's why I have to make all these notes. I have to make these notes. It's just without that, I'm thinking I'm talking about baseball.
I've got my notes too. Pulled up.
All right. So we're going to be in good shape. We won't be reading from a screen and pretending that we're like
completely off.
That's right.
Yeah.
My whole life is a fake. People think I have it all going on. It's just like such a mess. I have no idea what I'm doing. And when I'm done with you, I just curl up on my bed and cry for like an hour. And it's usually how my day goes.
I can relate. That's the sad part, is I can relate.
We're all going to be weeping together. But in terms of being up in Boston, too, what has been going on there? Has it been getting back to normal a little bit now? Or because we were like I said, I'm in central Jersey here. We were like the first and the worst kind of with that. And New Jersey's still a mess. You know, they still want to keep us locked in our homes, it seems like, for eternity. So
yeah, we've been slow. Our governor has always been very cautious. And so we don't have we have our numbers, but he's always been very cautious. So we're on our phase 3 right now. So not everything is open. Bars aren't open. Restaurants are. And you can pretty much go anywhere except for bars, movie theaters, amusement parks, large gatherings. But they did bring it back now. So the gathering limit, they took that. They brought it back. Mm-hmm.
Because I wonder, too, especially around here, a lot of smaller companies, like restaurants and things are closed. So working with companies and stuff like that, it could just be rough if these people aren't even allowed to be open in some instances. So it's like that effect just ripples out.
It does.
And it's a tough thing. And yeah, it's hard. And the weird thing about it is in some areas of the country, people can't relate. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Everything here is fine. You know, there are states that are just
open,
going on like nothing ever happened. Yeah. And there are other areas of the country which you can't even go to a restaurant. And it's like a weird situation. And, just curious because, like I'm tangentially involved in the wedding business because I work with a lot of brides, and that has been like shut down since March. So a lot of weddings have been moved back. So I'm in your line of work too. I was curious what do you think the impact of that has been in a lot of smaller businesses?
So at first it was just not shooting. I think any of the studio spaces I normally rent or have available, and just the distancing, it just wasn't clear. There wasn't a lot of clear guidance. So we weren't shooting at all. Now we're shooting with protocols in place to ensure the safety. Some spaces are back open, which is great. A lot of my clients have used co-working spaces as part of their session. So that's still closed. A lot of co-working spaces are still closed. So really it's more dependent on, okay, where can we shoot that's open? So we can shoot as long as we have protocols in place and following any limitations on number of people in a space.
So it's been a little bit more work to find a place that is usable or available.
Yeah. So a lot of my clients rent through a particular company. It's home studio list. And they were pretty much closed. They're people's homes. So we're not going to go shoot there in the middle of a pandemic. Now it's up to the discretion of the homeowner whether or not they want to move forward and if we can maintain the appropriate protocols.
Mm. So it's harder work. So I know this is just.
But it's busy. It's busy, though. People are moving online. So I work with a lot of online entrepreneurs because they need the content for their website, their Instagram. So it actually I've been getting a lot more work because people need that content now that they've shifted solely online.
So yeah, it's just been a little bit more difficult. Business necessarily. Well, that's always a good thing. But finding the place to actually, I guess, shoot has been a little bit more work on.
There's the sensitive nature of it all. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's an interesting, it's weird how you could flip a switch like that. And from 6 months ago, your life is very different now, and you have to adapt and come up with new ways to accommodate people. But at least they're coming in. Yeah. And you didn't think about that because life online, I guess, still goes on. So if people are ordering and shipping things online, that's probably a bunch of the business has shifted that way. So they certainly would need those kind of things. But before we're talking here, Jessie, introduce yourself to everybody. We're like yapping here. I didn't even give you a minute to introduce yourself.
Yeah, no, I am Jessie Wyman. I am owner of Jessie Wyman Photography, and I recently started a new side of my business, the brand photographer method, where I educate photographers interested in transitioning to brand photography. So I've been serving the Boston area since 2011. 2013 is really when I started charging for work. So I serve the Boston area, but also the greater Boston area, New England. specializing mainly working with female entrepreneurs. That doesn't exclude working with men, but my niche is working with women entrepreneurs that have a online presence.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So that was quite a mouthful. And I was reading a little bit about your notes, and this isn't really how you got started, though. You did not start off as a brand photographer. So today, I think what we're going to talk is a little bit about that transition and how you got going and how you wound up here. And it looks like you're happy. Looks like this has worked out for you. And as far as this part here, so maybe the lesson is, at first you don't succeed, try and try until you finally find your niche and sub-niche, I guess, in this case.
Yes, I love that. At first you don't succeed. So, I feel like my journey is very similar to a lot of other photographers that weren't trained in photography. I'm not a trained photographer. I didn't go to school for it. I actually have a background in urban planning and design. And I, worked in the corporate world for many, many years. And then someone gifted me a camera and I was like, I should actually learn how to use this thing. I had a couple friends that were really good at it, seeing their photos on Instagram, started learning how to actually use the camera, remembering the one course I took in high school. And from there, it sort of took a life of its own. I realized I really was interested in it and I loved photographing people and really experimenting with that and I always challenged myself. I'm like, I want my images to look like this. And I would try until I got to that point. And then it's like, oh, well, now I want to try this, maybe this style or using a flash.
It's fun to do. At first.
It's a challenge.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So eventually I started doing that around 2011, started really getting paid for my work. People were like, oh, well, you take pictures of my friends and my friends' kids and these kids. And so I really started by just people seeing my images on Instagram, doing a couple shoots with friends. And then, do you do family sessions? Okay, sure. I'll do family sessions.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Oh, will you just do pictures of my kids? Sure, I'll do kids. Okay, what about newborns? Sure, I can learn that. No big deal. Seniors, dogs, like you name it, I did it. And what was interesting is I never wanted to do wedding photography. That terrified me. Absolutely terrified me. I said, nope, never going to do it. Mm-mm. Until someone asked you,
by the way.
By the way, exactly. Will you shoot my son's wedding? He's getting deployed. He wants to get married before he leaves New England. I will pay you what you want. I was like, I even said, I've never shot a wedding. I was very honest. Never shot a wedding. You might want to hire a photographer that actually has done this once or twice. And she's like, no, I trust your work. I know you'll do great. Just give me a number. And I think I charged, I don't know, like $400, maybe $500. I don't know. They ended up
sold.
I know. They gave me like a tip and, so I think in the end, I think I made like $800 my first wedding. And from there, a lot of it's, networking referrals. So it was, can you shoot my daughter's wedding now? So I shot her daughter's wedding. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, this isn't so bad. Like I can do this. And it just snowballed. And every season I got busier. And so I really, at that point, you could say I was like a family and wedding photographer, but
it just kind of happened. And that's what sort of goes. You just find yourself in the middle of it and you wake up and you've got like 4 weddings booked or 5 weddings booked and you're like, all right, I guess I'm a wedding photographer. Exactly.
So I was just going with it, but I really felt like I wasn't ever satisfied. I weddings, as much as I was like, okay, I can do this. And I was eventually really good at it and I made good money doing it. I didn't love it. And I started to feel every season, I'm like, I'm going to do less weddings. And it's like, as a business owner, when you say that to yourself, like, I want to do less
money. Yeah. You're like, I think I want to earn less
money. This doesn't make sense. I should want to do more of what I love. And obviously it's clear I don't love this. So
it's hard. It's difficult, I think, because you're right. On the one hand, you're paying your rent, you're paying your mortgage, your car payment, or whatever it may be, the electric bills, and then you're like, maybe I don't want to do this. But yeah, it's a struggle, I think, for some people. But you knew.
I started to get that feeling, and I was like, what do I do? At that point, it was 2017 was a really busy year. 2016, it was also really busy. I had started to hear about...
Oh, so that was that long. That was like 5 years or 6 years you were doing these weddings. Ah.
Yeah, so I was doing weddings and families and, sprinkling in dogs. Like, I'm a dog lover, so I was like, maybe I can, like, really, like, niche in dog photography and even seniors. But I found that, like, senior photography in the Boston area, for whatever reason, isn't as, like, prevalent as it is.
Yeah, I found that, too. And the same thing here. Like, I think there are parts of the country where that's a much bigger business. And actually, I have a show coming up tomorrow, the day after I'm recording with somebody. So that's something I was going to get into with them. But yeah, I don't think in the New York area it's a thing like it is in other parts. It could be. Maybe you just don't know about it. But I agree with you there. It's not a big deal, I don't think, everywhere.
Yeah. So that never really took off. The dogs never really took off. So I was just sort of left with weddings and families. And I just wasn't loving it. I had done some headshot sessions mixed in throughout the years. And I found that I actually I started like trying to think, what is it that I love? And I love working one-on-one with people. And I think that's actually why I did like working with seniors so much, is because it's more one-on-one work, just not a big market here for it. So I had started hearing about brand photography and personal branding photography. And, I was thinking, maybe this could work. And when all that was happening, I decided to go back to grad school for urban design, which was interesting. People were like, why don't you just go back for photography? I'm like, well, I don't need to, I'm not sure I want to do it full time. And I think as entrepreneurs, it's terrifying to go all in because then it makes it real. So I wasn't ready to leave my job yet. So I went to grad school. It was only a year program. And after grad school, we got married. Me and my husband got married. And so he was like, take your time finding a job, because the last job in my full-time career wasn't loving it either. Take your time, find the right thing. But I ended up not going back full-time. I actually ended up finding consulting and freelance jobs in urban planning and design, which ultimately freed up time for the photography business at the same time. So that was like 2016. I was trying to figure it out. What should I do? How do I balance like both sides of this, like these passions that I have? And ultimately deciding, okay, weddings and families is not really what I want to do. Now that I have a more flexible schedule, maybe I could do branding and I could do it during the week. And I could stop working on the weekends because I'm missing everything. That was like my thing too, is shooting all weekend, Saturdays were the weddings, Sundays
never
were the
around
families.
For any family events. Yeah.
I don't have kids, but, missing out on the pool party or, the nieces and nephews' birthdays or, oh, do you want to go to the Red Sox game on Saturday? Oh, no, can't do that. Oh, we're going to go out we're going to go on a fishing tour. Nope, can't do that. Sorry.
Got the Jones wedding. Yep.
I was like, that really irked me. So I was trying to find a solution within my photography passion. What will give me my weekends back? What will help build my business in a way that I like it? Okay, I like working one-on-one with people. I've heard of personal branding. Let me do a mini session. Let me just throw it out there. Let me just try a mini session event.
Why not? What could go wrong?
And basically that's what I did. And that was sort of the jump start into my transition or niching down to brand photography. So.
And that just... You read a little bit of it. Yeah, because that's something that wasn't, I don't think that much, I don't want to say like in the news, branding photography, even as much as 4 or 5 years ago, you didn't hear of it that much. And I think with the advent of more social media growth and especially with online, but I guess there's more aspects, and we'll get into this. There's, I guess, branding photography for people. And then there's like branding photography for companies and products.
Correct.
And so one thing I was going to ask you, is there even a subspecialty where you want to stick with people or versus products, or you do both? Or so which was your interest there? Were you more interested in people first still, or with products, with working with companies and doing their work for their items or their products? Yeah.
So when I did the mini session event, it was for people. So it was service-based entrepreneurs. That's who I was sort of targeting. I didn't really have a niche further than that. I said any entrepreneur in the Boston area. I was in a couple networking groups or a couple just Facebook groups that local entrepreneurs connect. So I posted it there and ended up getting 2 people. It's like total failure because the cost of the space I rented, it was like, it didn't even cover that, but I really, really enjoyed it. So at that point, I really loved working the one-on-one with people. The product side of my business, and I do work with product-based entrepreneurs, sort of came as like a second. And it was it almost as a result of working with the service-based entrepreneurs, because when you're in brand photography, you're doing more than, there's a tagline like more than just a headshot, which I think is like kind of a really cheesy tagline, but there's the images that you have to capture the entire aspect of their brand. Sure, we're going to get the headshot, but how are we going to show people what it is that you do? And that's through like other types of imagery, flat lays, detail shots. And I found that I really actually do enjoy working in the flat lays and the detailing, and started thinking, hey, I could work with the product-based brands as well. And it's not as prevalent, like the people side of my business is more the moneymaker than the product at this point. And I think that's just because I feel like I'm a little bit more, that's sort of where my heart lies a little bit more.
Yeah. It seems like they go hand in hand.
They do.
If you are working with Mary and she has a great cupcake business, it would seem that, Mary wants some photos for her website or her, social media, but, she may also need great pictures of those cupcakes as her, or her with her product. So I guess there is definitely
absolutely
crossover between those two. So there's opportunity to expand.
And those sessions I absolutely love. So if I'm working with a local,
is it just because you get to taste the cupcakes?
Absolutely. That's like the bonus. That's like
being honest.
Yes. I have a big sweet tooth, so it's a problem. It's a big problem. But those types of businesses where they're local and they're product based, where we can capture those brand images of them, but also if they need product imagery, do it all at once. Book a full day and get both things done. And I've done that and I love doing that. So in that situation, it actually is really, really great.
And I'm guessing too, it's learning something new. And I guess you had experience with people and, from doing the weddings and so forth and, posing people's a little bit, but, this is a little bit different. So when you sat down and started to do your first, were there any differences right off the bat that you noticed, or did you kind of fall right in place and say, oh yeah, I've done plenty of brides or plenty of grooms and it's the same thing, and gone right through and just photographed away? Yeah,
there is some big differences. I would say first and foremost, the upfront planning that you need to do. I mean, obviously I would meet with my couples and either virtually or in person before the wedding, and we would have like the timeline and, hash that out. But when it comes to brand photography, a lot of your clients are going to be completely uneducated in this space.
It's their first time.
With a bride, it's likely their first time too, but, she's likely been on Pinterest, or she might have been at a wedding. She kind of knows how it goes or what she wants. I think there's a little bit more, like, I know what to search for to have inspiration. With brand photography, a lot of my clients are like, I have no idea what I am doing here. All I know is my web designer told me I need to get brand photos.
Because sometimes too, you may be working, they may be working with other people in some instances too. So they may not even be coming to you maybe for this inspiration. They could be from some overall kind of a person that they're working, like a designer or something that says, all right, you need to have this color, this color, this color. And so you may be just, I guess, reacting or photographing. They're not, or is it sometimes too when they're asking you to come up with this look, or how does that break down?
You've been listening to the free version of the Mike Cassidy Photography Podcast, which brings you the smartest content in photography. If you value what you've been hearing, Mike has created a membership program that brings you far more in-depth content if you want to take your knowledge of the business of photography to the next level. To hear the full interviews with all of Mike's guests, become a premium member today by visiting thephotographypodcast.show/subscribe.
Now you're taking all this stuff that you've learned along the way and putting it out there to help others get started in brand photography as well. And who really, I mean, is there someone again that you could say is who can really benefit from this, or who's the ideal person? Is it someone who's also doing like real estate photography and then they can get in and do this, or is it just for people mostly that want to focus on brand photography and that's the only thing they want to do?
Yeah, so it's really anybody that was like struggling the way I was, kind of stuck in that rut that, maybe they're shooting those weddings, working with the families. They're just not happy in their current situation.
Looking for something new.
Yeah. So a lot of my, the members who have joined, they do still add it to their genre services. They're not ready to give that up. And I think you can definitely get an extreme amount of value on how to build that side of your business. But I think it's really going to be beneficial for those looking to niche down who are terrified of doing it. So it's really meant to give you the confidence in offering this as like your full-time niche. But again, there's value in it for those that aren't quite ready to niche down. So
to learn a little bit more. And what we're talking about is your course, and it's called the Brand Photography Method. And so tell everybody a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's the Brand Photographer Method, and brand is an acronym, and it basically spells out the way the course is taught, the signature process. So all starting with, the letter B, we're building your foundation. We talk about pricing. We talk about how to portfolio build and really how to start getting yourself set up as that branding expert, really talking about how to network and how to get in front of your ideal client. R is how to rope them in. A lot of photographers, myself included, really didn't start thinking about the client journey. We're like, we need a market, but without understanding how your clients are finding you, it's all sort of for naught. So I talk about the typical client journey and what their primary motivators are, their problems, why they're coming to you, and how do we create content and marketing towards that. So talking about, the marketing funnel, opt-ins, email sequences, social posts, things like that. But when you do rope them in, they're going to end up on your website, and then you need to further assure them. So that's assure them that you are the right photographer for them. That's through, your website copy, but also other ways that making the case, what I call it, making the case for branding photography, where a lot of brand photographers struggle with showing value in their work. Why should somebody hire you? What sort of return are they going to get? So I teach certain ways on how to show that value in the work in that module of the course. N is nail it. So, okay, yep, you've got the client. You've assured them that you're the person for them. Now you've got to nail the shoot. So we talk about everything from shoot planning to prepping for your shoot. How to create the shoot plan. So I literally give them the exact way I take my clients through the process, from the workflow to the shoot plan to all my templates, everything. And then D is deliver it. How can we deliver photos in a way that's not going to be a time suck? Because this is also about running a business. So everything I'm teaching is a way that's going to help streamline and make everything super, super easy for a client to go through your workflow. So delivering the photos, but also how to come up with ways that are going to allow you to be top of mind for your clients until they come back. Most of the time, your client isn't going to be a one and done. Especially
you want repeat business,
especially for Instagram images. Like they may need like the core website images, but they might be like, I need more content. I have more blog posts coming up. I've got more Instagram stuff I want to do. I need more content. So how can you maintain top of mind so that they're like, I need to call Jessie for another session. So
there's a lot of stuff going on there. This isn't really just one thing. This is like are these pre-recorded, or is this like a live kind of a event, and where do people go to?
It's all pre-recorded. So it's just, you get lifetime access. It's you log into a dashboard, everything is there, walks you right through it. So you can do it at your own.
It's broken down into chapters, so you can do it at your own pace.
Do it at your own pace. I give a ton of templates, PDF worksheets to hold you accountable, but also just ways that I do it. Pretty much I'm giving you like my entire business, and you can take it or leave it. I encourage everybody to make it their own and make it unique. But this is really what's done me really well. I booked 26 clients in my first year, and that is unheard of for someone transitioning to brand photography. And this year is crazy. I haven't done the numbers, but I'm definitely going to surpass that. So and the momentum is there. Right now is like a great time to get into brand photography because everybody is moving online. Everybody needs those.
That's a little counterintuitive, what we were talking about before. And I was asking you before we were recording, is this like time slowing down because you think business? And you said it was the opposite. So
if we can shoot, provided that the shooting allows, the need is there. Everybody's having this primary motivator. I have a website. I have my Instagram. I'm going virtual. I need images to show people who I am now that I can't meet them in person. The trick is making sure that our states don't lock down and we can't shoot.
Yeah, can't get out of your house. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be back to normal. Again, this may not be affecting everybody in the same way as us here in the Northeast. I can't speak to restrictions. Who knows what's going on in Wyoming? They may not even know.
I'm not keeping track. I can keep track of what I ate today.
People in Wyoming don't even know there's a virus. They're just going about their lives out there. So it could be just, it's who knows what's going on. I don't even know what day it is anymore. I've been locked in my house since March. They don't even let me outside. Just trapped here in my room. But so this is there a website, or where can people go and tell me a little bit more about? Yeah,
they can follow. They can follow the Brand Photographer Method on Instagram. It's literally at the Brand Photographer Method. That has a link where they can sign up to get on the wait list. The next open enrollment will be in October. So if you get on that wait list, you're going to be getting the emails, all the info on how you can join the next round. I don't keep open enrollment. I do only open it like every other month. So you'll want to definitely hop over to at the Brand Photographer Method and sign up on that list.
Looks like you need a good night's sleep before you jump in there. I'm a little afraid of that. Yeah, it's a lot of information in there, so that looks like a really good thing.
It's comprehensive, and it's for sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on, and even after people go through that, are you available like afterwards for help or any individual work or so forth when it comes to people having questions or about the course?
So every month I actually do a live Q&A. So I guess you could call that small group coaching. If it gets really big, I might have to do a couple times a month, but it's for any questions of anybody, going through any of the modules and you get stuck, or, if you've got a question, live Q&A every month. They can book a one-on-one call with me. I don't include a one-on-one at this point. I have offered one-on-ones as a bonus when if you're open enrollment and you're the first 3 to sign up, you can get a free one-on-one call with me. So that's why it's really important to make sure you're on that list, because when the doors open, I usually include something special for the first people that
get on the list.
I know.
Get on the list.
So, but I'm very present. There's a Facebook community, ask questions there. I'm very active in the group, and you have lifetime access. So if you don't get to it for a year, you're still going to have access to it. It's not like it's going to go away. And then I'm constantly updating things. So one thing I like to say is that I am a practicing photographer. So if something in the industry changes, or if there's a new trend that needs to be addressed, I am constantly updating the material, or a new tutorial. I'll just throw in a new video where, so it's always being updated.
Yeah, because the one thing good about courses like that is everybody tends to learn and absorb at their own pace, and people only have so much time, so you can do it on your own speed and go back and rewatch things and or, implement something and go back and forth. So I think that's a great way to do that. And boy, Jess, we covered a lot of ground here today.
I know, we did.
I didn't even stretch out before this. Now I'm feeling kind of like I needed to.
You're going to take a nap. You're going to take a nap, right, after this?
Yeah, I know. Now I'm going to curl up in my bed and cry. You have to bring it up. Oh, my God. You have to bring it up. I was just getting over that. But where can everybody find out a little bit of information about you? Where's your website? Where can we go to see your work and find you?
Yeah, I'm JessieWymanPhotography.com. And I'm at Jessie Wyman Photos on Instagram. And, everything is sort of tied together. I just sort of separated the Brand Photographer Method, but it's pretty close. So if you go one place, you should be able to find me on the other place.
Find the other one. Yeah, and the pictures are great. Just, I was looking through your Instagram before, and I see you do have some products and some lay flats on there. We didn't get too much into that, but with the other branding photos you did, work is really, really nice. So great job. And
thank you.
With that work. And I think people can really benefit from you.
Yeah. And I do try to do as much learning behind the scenes and stories. I need to do a little bit more, but I'm always trying to share tips and tricks.
It's hard. Like I said, with this institute, you only got so much time.
I know. Stories are tough, man. TikTok, it's going away. I didn't really even get a chance to learn it, and now Reels. Oh gosh,
I wouldn't have time. No one wants to see me dancing on TikTok anyway.
You'd be surprised.
I trust
You'd be surprised.
The world can do without me dancing or doing videos of changing clothes. That's all that seems to be on those things anyway.
Impressive.
So the universe is much better without me on TikTok. But people have time. There's only so much energy you have on any given day. So it's blogging and Instagramming, it's a commitment. So people who are on there every single day, kudos to them. I'm exhausted. Like I said, I'm in my bed crying usually by 7 o'clock. So that's that's my full afternoon there. But this is great. And Jessie, I just want to take a moment to thank you for coming on and talking a little bit about your work and branding photography today.
Thank you for having me.
I screwed up the name of your course, the Brand Photographer Method.
Okay.
You know, so we'll on the show and then on the website page we'll have all the information and the links in there, and then we'll add any other links we talked about today. So that was great. I'm starting to tear up a little bit now. You're making me cry, so I'm going to go take my nap. And I just want to say thanks again for coming on. And Jessie, just say goodbye to everybody so we can get out of here.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and thank you, Mike, for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks.
Bye.